Russia unleashed another massive missile and drone barrage after Kyiv appealed for more Western air defense support. Moscow signaled that even additional Patriot systems would not halt its expanding missile campaign. Russia launched 74 missiles and 284 drones in one of its largest overnight attacks of the war. The latest wave of strikes pushed fresh security concerns closer to NATO's eastern frontier. Russia launched a massive overnight missile and drone barrage against targets across Ukraine in the early hours of July 30th. According to Ukrainian officials, Moscow fired 74 cruise, ballistic and hypersonic missiles during the large-scale overnight assault. Russia also launched 284 Shahed-type attack drones in one of the biggest coordinated aerial attacks of the war. Ukraine said its air defenses intercepted 55 missiles and destroyed 265 drones before they reached their intended targets. Powerful explosions rocked Kyiv, Lviv, and several other cities located hundreds of kilometers from the front line. Thousands of residents rushed into Kyiv's metro stations as air raid sirens sounded across the capital during the attacks. Ukrainian officials said at least 8 people, including children, were killed in the nationwide missile and drone strikes. More than 50 people were also reported injured across Kyiv, Lviv, Kryvyi Rih and Poltava following the overnight bombardment. President Volodymyr Zelensky had warned just hours earlier that Russia was preparing a major overnight strike against Ukraine. Zelensky said strengthening protection against Russian missile attacks remained Ukraine's highest military priority. Volodymyr Zelensky said, and I quote, "I received a report from Air Force Commander Anatoly Krivonosko. The Russians prepared a massive attack several days ago, and there is a high probability that the strike will be carried out tonight. It is important that our partners fully understand what is happening, and that the protection of lives directly depends on their readiness, or lack thereof, to help us with air defense missiles. First and foremost, this concerns the United States and those partners that have Patriot missiles and can provide them to support our defense. Every partner knows what is needed and fully understands the consequences of marking time. Please, in all regions of Ukraine, pay attention to air raid alerts today and stay safe." Unquote. Ukraine's Air Force also said an F-16 fighter suffered an in-flight emergency while carrying out a combat mission during the attacks. The pilot ejected safely, while Ukrainian authorities said the cause of the in-flight incident remained under investigation. Amid Russia's large-scale assault, Poland said an unidentified projectile crashed inside its Lublin province near the Ukrainian border. Poland's military said the object landed roughly 95 kilometers from the border as Russian missiles flew across western Ukraine. Polish authorities scrambled fighter jets and placed air defense forces on alert as the Russian strike unfolded nearby. The attack came only days after Zelensky asked Donald Trump for a winter package of Patriot air defense missiles. Zelensky urged Washington to help protect Ukraine's critical energy infrastructure before the arrival of the winter season. Ukraine is seeking as many as 300 Patriot interceptor missiles to strengthen its air defense network before winter. Trump reportedly promised to try to assist Ukraine, but said U.S. interceptor stockpiles were already under growing pressure. Zelensky also held talks with Lockheed Martin and RTX on expanding joint missile production and defense cooperation. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said he spoke with the U.S. President about weapons aid and the urgent need to strengthen Ukraine's air defenses during his Washington visit. Zelensky stated that he highlighted Ukraine's need for anti-ballistic missile systems and interceptors, stressing that this is now the country's real problem in defending its cities.
Well, first of all, we are very thankful with senators and we are very thankful for this discussion. This discussion was with ideas of how to help Ukraine, and we are thankful that this bill is very important. Sanctions pressure on Russia is very important. And really is not only about money, how to stop to finance this war, but is also a big signal to Europe, big signal to Ukraine, big support of our people. So I'm very thankful. God bless, will have positive result. Will Ukraine receive war missiles? What was the conversation with Donald Trump? We speak about unintelligible missiles, and really through now we spoke about senators about it. So that Ukraine really can produce everything which can destroy everything from Iranian, unintelligible, to Russian drones and etc. We have drone interceptors more than systems of electronic, unintelligible. Real problem is anti-ballistic systems and anti-ballistic missiles. And of course I shared what we need, our needs. I shared it with the President today, and we are thankful for him for this meeting. And now I shared it with senators. so we will try to manage it. It's a big challenge.
He said the July 28 meeting with President Trump at the White House was good, describing productive talks on air defense and broader cooperation, according to reports. The Ukrainian president added that licenses for Patriot interceptor production were discussed, building on Trump's earlier decision to grant Ukraine the right to manufacture Patriot missiles domestically. Zelensky also said that the diplomatic process had to be reinvigorated, signaling that military aid must be paired with renewed efforts to end the war through negotiations. Notably, this fresh request from Kyiv comes at a time when the U.S. is dealing with a broader weapons and air defense ammunition shortage, worsened by heavy use in the Iran war. Meanwhile, a major Ukrainian iron mine has suspended operations amid continued Russian strikes on merchant shipping that have crippled export routes. The iron mining complex in Kryvyi Rih halted excavation work on July 28, with reports linking the shutdown directly to Russia's attacks on Black Sea shipping and port infrastructure. The Southern Mining and Processing Plant said, and I quote, "The Southern Mining and Processing Plant has begun the process of suspending production and temporarily reducing work." The decision was made due to the constant attacks by the aggressor country on civilian merchant ships heading to Ukrainian Black Sea ports. Several shiploads of iron ore, which were supposed to be exported, accumulated in both the ports and the warehouses of the Southern Mining and Processing Plant. Due to the inability to accumulate the extracted products, the plant was forced to temporarily suspend its work. Unblocking logistics routes for Ukrainian Black Sea ports is an extremely important task for the sustainable operation of not only the mining and metallurgical industry, but also the entire Ukrainian economy. We call on state authorities to take maximum measures to protect port infrastructure and merchant ships from enemy attacks." Unquote. The plant is co-owned by Ukrainian billionaire Rinat Akhmetov's Metinvest Group, which holds a major stake in the Kryvyi Rih iron mining complex.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.